Hi everyone, Transforming Fan here back again. Doing a bit of a different video today. I'm actually going to be doing a movie review on Kung Fu Panda 4. It's going to be a spoiler review, so if you've not seen a film and you care about spoilers, don't watch this. But I'll come back to it, when you've watched it. I've got some notes here that I've put down just that I want to talk about. Now, normally I don't do movie reviews, it's not something I do, but Kung Fu Panda's been quite a big franchise in my life. Actually, I grew up with it and I really love it. And I just got a few thoughts about the movie that I want to go through. And I've only seen the movie once, so I'm hoping when I watch it again when it comes out on DVD, I can come back to my own review and answer some of the questions that I have now. So again, I've only seen it once, and you know, as I watch it a second time and third time, obviously I will probably change my opinion, but I just want to go through my sort of first thoughts about the movie. Now, I do have quite a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm going to try and keep it under the sort of 10 to 15 minute mark. I'll try and keep it under that. If I go over it, I apologise. But, and again, if I look down here, it's because I'm reading my notes. But it might sound like I'm nitpicking some things. I really enjoyed the movie. It was a really fantastic movie, really fun. I enjoyed it, had a lot of laughs. And, you know, I don't know. I just have a lot of things to say, and it might sound like I'm nitpicking and be negative and saying that the movie's bad or something like that. But it's just things that I kind of wish was different in the movie, but that doesn't take away the enjoyment of it. That's what I'm trying to say. So I will need to watch it again to get a better opinion. But let's get into the video. So the new sort of character in the movie called Shen, they are a new character, and I think the whole story of Kung Fu Panda 4 was about Po transitioning to this spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace, taking that next step in his journey, and it was about who becomes the new Dragon Warrior. And it was very predictable. At first, when before I even saw the film, I thought, oh, I bet it's Shen. I bet Shen is a Dragon Warrior. And then I think towards I'd say the middle section of the film, maybe a little bit after, Shen actually sort of betrays Po, and I thought actually maybe she isn't. Maybe DreamWorks are trying to pull something unexpected. And then for some reason my mind went to perhaps Tai Lung could be the Dragon Warrior. Maybe he's learned something in the spirit realm that he didn't learn when he was alive on the physical plane. And I thought, oh, what if Tai Lung was a Dragon Warrior? And then no, it was Shen, and that's just I like Shen, but I don't feel that the length of the movie was enough um to get used to her. Po was very easy to get used to because he was the first character, in the franchise, and it was, Po is very lovable, and he's got big, Shen's got to feel, Shen's got to fill big shoes, the role of a Dragon Warrior, and I just feel like 90 minutes for the film, I think because it was predictable as well, but I didn't feel that connection with Shen like I do Po, and I think a lot of people might feel the same. I don't feel there was enough room to grow her character in the movie. Um, I even think one of the Furious Five could have been the new Dragon Warrior, maybe, but then it might cause an imbalance between the Furious Five. Maybe we could have had a new Furious Five. I also saw a theory about the movie before I saw it about potentially the Furious Five are going to branch off and have their own dojo. Tigress goes here, Viper goes there, etc., etc., and they all open up their own dojo. I think that would have been a better idea. Maybe they'll do that if they make a fifth film. Next point is the opening scene. Yes, I like the opening scene. Poe's first fight as well was very good. Tai Lung's or the Chameleons introduction, fantastic. As soon as I was watching it, I could tell Poe has come a long way, and I just enjoyed it thoroughly. Those two opening scenes, the fight with Poe and the Tai Lung entrance, Chameleon, fantastic. Couldn't fault that. I like the anime style as well. There was certain bits in the film and the fights, and I could tell there was drawing elements from anime. Now I'm not a big anime watcher, but I could tell they were drawing those sort of elements, and I really really like that. The voice acting, Jack Black and everyone, fantastic. The music on point. I've always loved the Kung Fu Panda music. Very ambient. I love listening to it, just relaxing, and yeah, fantastic voice acting and music, really, really good. The Furious Five. So I did watch one of the trailers before the movie came out, and I did see Tigress, and I'm like, oh yeah, the Furious Five are in it, but they're at the end. They're at the end of the film, just training Shen. They are mentioned throughout, and it's mentioned why they're not here in the film. But I feel like the writers just said, "Oh, the Furious Five are not off on their missions because of this." I feel like it was just the writers just justifying why the Furious Five aren't in the movie rather than the Furious Five actually going out and doing whatever they were doing and it having an impact on the movie. It was just like a quick mention what they were doing. It didn't have any impact. It was just, for me, it felt like a bit of a lazy excuse why they weren't in the movie. They're just doing their own thing, which, again, they're mentioned throughout the movie, and I hope whatever they do, I think it said like Viper was doing peace talks with two tribes, and then Tigers were doing something else. I hope whatever they were doing maybe leads into the next film or like a spin-off TV show again, like the previous ones. Maybe that'll be something interesting. Maybe add a bit more weight to what they were doing. But other than that, it was just a quick mention and then them showing up at the end, and it didn't really. Yeah, it didn't really. I'm gonna come back to the Furious Five because I've got something else. Um, in fact, no, it's actually the next point. So Poe's dads, his two fathers, they accompanied him on the mission, which was fine. They could have easily been replaced by the Furious Five. If the Furious Five were in the Jade Palace and his father, Poe's fathers wouldn't have had to follow him because he's with the Furious Five. And I feel like Poe going on this mission, becoming his next self, would be better with the Furious Five. If I don't even think he needed his fathers to go with him. To be honest, I feel like Poe could have done it on his own. Sure, they provide the odd emotional and motivational speech to Poe, but I don't feel like his dad's realistically contributed anything to him that Poe wouldn't be able to achieve by going on his own. So if anyone had to go with Poe, I feel like Furious 5 would have been better because, one, it would have made fans happy, and two, I think the Furious 5, having that martial art knowledge and having the knowledge of what it is being a protector of the peace and being a protector of the Valley of Peace, I feel like Poe's internal struggles about choosing the next Dragon Warrior would have been more suited with the Furious Five. They would have been able to comfort him and understand Poe more than his fathers would have done, I feel like. And it might have thrown some interesting scenes in there between the Furious Five and Shen. How would they interact? And maybe the Furious Five maybe try to blow their own trumpet a little bit and say to Poe, maybe I can be the new Dragon Warrior. Maybe it would have been interesting dynamics for the Furious Five members from the first film when they all wanted to be the Dragon Warrior by Uguay's choice. I think maybe it would have been a good opportunity to see if they still wanted to be the Dragon Warrior. See if that still happens. Next thing is the criminal underworld. So the whole thing in the movie where there's like this criminal underworld thing. Honestly, I don't feel like that needed to be in the movie. I feel like you could cut that out and it'd be a whole movie because basically Shen assembles with Poe this whole criminal underworld army to go and fight the chameleon at the end, and they don't even do anything. They get to the battlefield and then nothing happens. Like, they get there and then that's it. Sure, they do sort of take out the guards. They go to the castle and defeat the guards and everything like that, and they clear the way for Poe to get in. But I just don't feel like it was necessary. I feel like Poe could have got in some other way, and they didn't actually, other than that, contribute anything. They didn't. They just didn't. Like, take that was probably a good 20, 25 minutes, I feel, of the movie, the whole underworld bit. Maybe I'm wrong, it might have been less, but I feel like if you could cut all that out, you could just add something else in. I kind of feel like the little three rabbits, I think they were, the one that was screaming like violence, violence. I feel like they were like the main kid aspect to it, like the child appeal for the movie because it's funny and they're little kids. Um, but I kind of feel like they're the main reason why all that criminal underworld bit was actually there. So there could be like a little bit of a kid appeal that kids would find funny. But I don't know, the whole criminal underworld bit just didn't seem. It just didn't seem necessary to me. I feel like I could cut the whole thing out. The chameleon. Okay, so the chameleon herself was probably the weakest villain. Now, don't jump on me here. She was probably in herself the weakest villain physically. She could transform into like anyone without even needing to drain her powers because she transformed into Poe. She transformed into an elephant. She transformed into a couple of others, and she didn't even need their powers. She didn't possess their powers, but she could just morph into them. So by morphing into like a big opponent, the chameleon became strong, like because she was bigger. But just in her own form, she was probably the weakest. But when she came to draining the villain's powers, she was probably the strongest villain because she's all of them combined. Um, but just in her physical form, it probably was the weakest physically. Um, the chameleon I enjoyed. I'm 50-50 on her though. I love her powers. I love how she could essentially take someone's like Tai Lung's energy and and his knowledge and become like the ultimate. Like Chameleon is the ultimate opponent. However, she had weak motives as far as I'm concerned. As far as I gathered, she was the villain because she got rejected from every single kung fu school that she went to. She kept wanting to go, and every single school rejected her. And I get that because Tai Lung was similar. He trained all his life and then got rejected at the end, but he's got a personal connection to like Shifu and Po. The chameleon, I get it's personal. She got rejected a lot, but I just feel like the chameleon's motives for wanting just to rule every single kung fu village and temple just because she was rejected from all of them. It I don't think it was a good motive, to be honest. She in the film she seemed to be gathering all the gold, and then as far as I could tell, she was like melting that gold and forming it into these magic cages to trap the kung fu masters so she could drain their powers. That was fine. Gathering the gold to make these cages to trap them and then drain the powers. That was fine. It's a motive why she was doing it because she was rejected from his school. That's what I have a problem with, and I didn't, I don't. When I was watching the movie, I was fine. I enjoyed it, and then as soon as like I came out the movies, like probably an hour after, I started to think, wow, she's probably the weakest motive wise, and yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like it. you know, I want to like her motives, but it just didn't. I feel like they could have come up with something else. Again, I know I'm sort of going on, but yeah. Now there's a bit at the end where basically Poe is trapped in a cage in a final battle, and he says to Shen, "You've got to do this. You've got to be the one to defeat the chameleon." And I'm like, oh no, they're pulling a Cars 3 where Lightning McQueen can't finish the race, so we get someone else to do it. But it turned out Poe was sort of pretending, and he just did it to allow Shen to realize her own power and potential. And then at the end, Poe actually was the one to finish the chameleon and return all the masters, the kung fu masters' power to everyone. That I liked. I really like that because if Shen defeated the chameleon and then returned all everyone's power back, that's what I would have had a problem with. However, because Poe was pretending, he used that to Shen's advantage, and then Poe defeated Chameleon himself, and he returned Master's energy himself. That was good. I really, really enjoyed that. I wouldn't have liked if they'd pulled a Cars 3, where they just got the new recruit to finish them, because it's like Poe's trained his entire life, and Shen just, you know, I just feel like if Shen were the one to defeat the chameleon and do everything, yeah, it just wouldn't be realistic, and I feel like they would be forcing Shen down our throats a bit too much. But I like that ending that they did where Poe was the one to do all this. The movie was very funny. I really enjoyed the humour, had a lot of good laughs throughout. The meditation bits with Poe and Shifu, really, really like that. I like Tai Lung. He was the main villain of the previous movie villains out of all of them. Tai Lung was the main one who spoke. I don't think Lord Shen or anyone else spoke, and if they did, it might I probably missed it. But Tai Lung was definitely the main returning villain, and I like how his personality changed. It's like he's learned his lesson in the spirit realm a little bit. I want to see what journey he's been on when he's been in the spirit realm. He's definitely grown a lot more matured. That's why I kind of thought maybe Tai Lung could be the next Dragon Warrior. Maybe he's learned his lesson and he's ready now. Next point is the film was great for post character development, but it doesn't feel like he was a Dragon Warrior for very long. So what I mean by that is Kung Fu Panda 1 was it 2008? I think. So Poe's been the Dragon Warrior probably for about 15, 16 years. I don't know. Don't quote me on it. I don't know the years. But let's just say averagely, don't know if that's a word. On average, maybe Poe's been a Dragon Warrior for about 15, 16 years. I don't feel like that's long enough. Poe was Dragon Warrior for from quite young. Not like a baby young, but like in his early years. And then he's gone through all this journey. And I feel like Poe should still be the Dragon Warrior until he's getting like older, older. Because it just feels like he's become the Dragon Warrior, he's done it for about 10, 15 years, and now he's not going to be the Dragon Warrior anymore. And I feel like it wasn't long enough for Poe to actually be the Dragon Warrior. I feel like he should have gone on a little bit longer. Because what's going to happen is Shen going to be the Dragon Warrior for 10 years, and then she's going to have to pass it on to someone else. I feel like if this were the case with Poe passing on the mantle, I feel like the film should have been set in the future. Like maybe when Poe is old. Not an old man, but like older, like probably sort of, maybe I want to say sort of Shifu's age maybe, or Tigress. I don't know. But I feel like if Poe was to go through all this journey, go through all of his life as a male, and then give up the Dragon Warrior title and pass it on when he's, 50, 60, 70 years old, or whatever age he is, I feel like it would have been better because he's truly lived the life of a Dragon Warrior, and now he's going on to be the spiritual leader. I feel like that would have been better. Poe passing on the mantle when he's older, not when he's still young. Poe's got so much more potential to fill, and I just feel like his potential's been cut short a little bit and capped. Yeah, and I think in the movie they should have made clear how long Poe's been the Dragon Warrior, because I feel like it would have added a bit more context to it. I like these points, by the way. You probably can tell they're not in any particular order, so I'm going back and forth a little bit. But Poe fighting himself, that was pretty cool. It was a bit terrifying to see evil Poe, but yeah, all the villains he fought from the chameleon, The chameleon replicated the villain's looks, all the Kung Fu Master's looks like perfectly. She looked like everyone. But when she came to Po, she didn't copy him truly. She had like this weird pattern, like a jade palace sort of palace stone feel to her. You know, you can see the trailers with Po when she's transformed into Po and he's got like a weird pattern on him, like a texture. And I don't know why she didn't become exactly like Po with all the fur and everything, but you know, it wasn't like flesh and fur like the previous form she made. But I don't know, maybe it's because he's Dragon Warrior. I don't know. So Poe's character arc isn't yet complete. He still needs to train Shen and show his transition as a spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace. So we obviously know this is going to happen. We just, I don't know whether it's going to be on a cliffhanger or whether they're going to address it in the future in a TV show or Kung Fu Panda 5 if they make it. So I feel like it'd be good to see that transition of him going to a spiritual leader. But who knows? Last point, I think. Yeah, last point. So Poe relies on Shifu less and less as the franchise has progressed. So, you know, he occasionally relies on the members of the Furious Five when he needs their guidance and their help, but he generally relies on Poe. Can't speak. Poe generally relies on Shifu and the Furious Five members less and less as he goes on, and I think that's a really good thing for this movie because he's sort of going on it on his own a little bit. You know, in the first film, Poe and Shifu had a very close relationship, um, and as time's gone on, he's learned how to be himself, his own person a bit more. He doesn't need the guidance all the time. He does, you know, here and there, but the franchise generally, Poe's progression is really good because he's learning how to go on his own and he's relying less on other people. And as he's learning more, he's learning to trust himself and occasionally relying on members of the Furious Five and Shifu himself when he needs to. That's all the points I had to say. I know this video is now 20 minutes, which I didn't mean to do it that long, but here we are. Yeah, so I had a lot to say about the movie. Again, I don't want to seem negative in my points, but they're just sort of little nitpicks. Again, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was brilliant, really, really fun, entertaining. As far as where I'd rank it, I think the first Kung Fu Panda has got the heart and the villain. Kung Fu Panda 1's probably the best one, and then probably followed by 2. I enjoyed Kung Fu Panda 3, but it's probably my least favourite, to be honest. I think Kung Fu Panda 4 just is above 3 a little bit, but again, maybe I need a second viewing of Kung Fu Panda 4 to truly appreciate things and answer my questions. So hopefully, future Daniel can answer my questions. But yeah, I think it's just the fact that the chameleon had weak motives and the whole criminal underground bit could have been cut out, and I just think the predictability of the plot just just made it a bit too well predictable. But I'm gonna finish it there. I really enjoyed the movie. I recommend you go see it if you haven't. If you've watched my review and you think I want to see it now or I don't want to see it now, I think just check it out. Make your own opinion. Don't let me tell you whether to enjoy it or not. I enjoyed it. It's just those things that I wish were changed. I think it'd be so much better to have the Furious Five in the movie. But like my last point, you know, Poe is progressing on his own, and yeah, it was different. It was different. But anyway, if you've seen the movie, then you know, let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. And I do have a Discord, obviously, as I've said before, and my Instagram at TF5000. So if you want to follow me there, please do. I'll leave the Discord link in the description below, as always. So yeah, let me know what you think, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care, guys, and I hope you had a good Easter as well.